He looked in the mirror and didn't like what he saw. Even after dieting, even after skipping meals, that stubborn belly was still there. His face looked thinner, sure, but his waist, completely unchanged. That's when most people give up. But he decided to understand why. He realized the problem wasn't laziness or a slow metabolism. It was following the wrong strategies. Cutting calories without protecting muscle, training the wrong way, ignoring what the body truly needs. From that point on, he followed a clear plan. Eat smart, train with purpose, and take each step knowing exactly what works. Avoiding the most common mistakes that block fat loss, especially after 40. A real plan, no gimmicks. If you've tried everything and still feel stuck, this might change everything for you. We also have an exclusive guide we developed especially for you, available for a limited time. But first, stick with me, and let's break it all down together. He looked in the mirror and didn't like what he saw. Even after dieting, even after skipping meals, that stubborn belly was still there. His face looked thinner, sure, but his waist, completely unchanged. That's when most people give up. But he decided to understand why. He realized the problem wasn't laziness or a slow metabolism, it was following the wrong strategies. Cutting calories without protecting muscle, training the wrong way, ignoring what the body truly needs. From that point on, he followed a clear plan. Eat smart, train with purpose, and take each step knowing exactly what works. Avoiding the most common mistakes that block fat loss, especially after 40. A real plan. No gimmicks. If you've tried everything and still feel stuck, this might change everything for you. We also have an exclusive guide we developed especially for you, available for a limited time. But first, stick with me, and let's break it all down together. It all started with a shirt. Not just any shirt, but my favorite one. I remember pulling it on one morning, ready for a family day out, and feeling it pull tight across my stomach. It wasn't just a little snug, it was properly uncomfortable. I spent the whole day sucking in my belly, feeling self-conscious and just not myself. It was a small thing, but it was the final straw. For months I'd been ignoring the signs. The way I'd get out of breath playing with the kids in the garden, or the sluggish feeling I had every single afternoon. I was a dad, a husband, and I wanted to be the best version of myself for my family, full of energy and life. That tight shirt was my wake-up call, the moment I knew I had to make a real change, not just for how I looked, but for my health and my future. I stood in front of the mirror that evening, after the kids were in bed, and had a proper, honest look. I wasn't massively overweight according to the scales, but I had this stubborn ring of fat around my middle that just wouldn't budge. I was what you might call skinny fat. My arms and legs were relatively slim, but my midsection told a different story. This wasn't just about vanity. My own dad had faced health issues, and I saw the writing on the wall. I knew that carrying extra weight around your waist is a serious health risk, and I didn't want to go down that path. My motivation was crystal clear. I needed to get healthier, stronger, and be a positive role model for my kids for many, many years to come. That moment of reflection was powerful. It wasn't about chasing some unrealistic body image from a magazine. It was about reclaiming my energy and my confidence. I felt tired all the time, and my sleep was rubbish. I knew that my diet, filled with too many convenient snacks and not enough proper nutrients, was the main culprit. I decided right then and there to stop making excuses. No more "I'll start on Monday." My journey began that very evening with a simple promise to myself, to learn how to fuel my body properly and to build strength. I wanted to feel good in my clothes, yes, but more importantly, I wanted to feel good in my own skin and have the boundless energy my family deserved. So my goal wasn't just about losing a few pounds, it was much bigger than that. I set a clear target, to reduce my body fat percentage and shrink my waistline. I wasn't obsessed with the number on the scale because I knew that building muscle might mean the scale doesn't move much at first. Instead, I focused on how my clothes fit, how I felt, and my energy levels. This shift in mindset was crucial. It transformed the journey from a chore into an exciting project. A project to build a stronger, healthier, and happier me. And it all started with one simple, honest moment in front of the mirror, sparked by one very tight shirt. Let's have a chat about the term skinny fat. It sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? But it's a real thing, and it's exactly where I found myself. You might have a body weight that falls within a normal range on the BMI chart, so you think you're all good. Your arms and legs might look slim, so you don't consider yourself overweight. However, you carry a disproportionate amount of fat around your stomach and organs. This is often called an apple shape, and it's a classic sign of being skinny fat. It's caused by having a low amount of muscle mass combined with a high percentage of body fat, especially visceral fat, which is the dangerous stuff we need to talk about. So why is this visceral fat, the fat around your belly, such a big deal? Unlike the jiggly fat under your skin, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat is located deep within your abdominal cavity. It wraps around your vital organs like your liver, pancreas, and intestines. This type of fat isn't just sitting there doing nothing, it's metabolically active. It releases inflammatory substances and hormones that can wreak havoc on your body. It can interfere with your hormones, mess up your insulin response, and increase your risk of some serious health problems. It's the hidden danger that a simple bathroom scale won't ever tell you about, which is why we need to focus on our waist measurement and how we feel, not just our weight. The health risks linked to high levels of visceral fat are no joke. We're talking about a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes, because it can lead to insulin resistance, where your body can't use insulin effectively anymore. It's also strongly linked to heart disease, high blood pressure, and even certain types of cancer. It can mess with your cholesterol levels, raising the bad LDL cholesterol and lowering the good HDL cholesterol. Thinking about this was a massive motivator for me. It wasn't just about looking better, it was about actively reducing my risk of getting seriously ill later in life. It was about taking control of my internal health, not just my external appearance. Understanding this was a game changer. It made me realize that my quest to lose belly fat was one of the most important things I could do for my long-term health. It shifted my focus from just losing weight to a more powerful goal, reducing visceral fat and building lean muscle to create a stronger, more resilient body from the inside out. This knowledge is power. When you understand you're doing something, it's so much easier to stay committed. You're not just on a diet, you're on a mission to protect your health, boost your energy, and build a body that will serve you well for decades. So, once I knew I needed to tackle my belly fat, the next question was, I didn't want a quick-fix diet that would leave me feeling miserable and hungry. I'd tried those before, and they never worked long-term. The answer wasn't just about smashing out hundreds of crunches or running for hours on end either. The secret weapon I discovered was a strategy called body recomposition. This sounds complicated, but it's actually beautifully simple. The goal of body recomposition is to do two things at the same time: decrease your body fat and increase your lean muscle mass. It's about changing the of your body, not just making it smaller. The first part of the plan is creating a modest caloric deficit. Now don't let the word deficit scare you. It doesn't mean starvation or eating tiny portions of bland food. It simply means consuming slightly fewer calories than your body burns each day. This gentle energy gap encourages your body to start using its stored fat for fuel. And guess what? The first place it often looks for that fuel is the stubborn fat stores around your middle. The key word here is, a huge deficit will leave you with no energy and can cause your body to break down muscle for fuel, which is the exact opposite of what we want. We need a small, sustainable deficit that allows us to lose fat while still feeling energized and strong. The second and equally important part of the puzzle is protein. Protein is an absolute superhero when it comes to body recomposition. When you're in a caloric deficit, your body can sometimes turn to your muscles for energy, but if you're eating enough protein, it helps protect that precious muscle mass. Not only that, but protein is also essential for repairing and building new muscle tissue after your workouts. It also has a high thermic effect of food, meaning your body burns more calories digesting it compared to fats and carbs. Plus, and this is a big one, protein keeps you feeling fuller for longer, which makes sticking to that caloric deficit so much easier. No more constant hunger pangs. Finally, we bring in resistance training. This is the catalyst that tells your body what to do with all that lovely protein you're eating. Lifting weights or doing bodyweight exercises sends a powerful signal to your body to build and maintain muscle. More muscle isn't just about looking toned, it's about turning your body into a more efficient fat-burning machine. Muscle tissue is more metabolically active than fat tissue, meaning it burns more calories even when you're resting. Combining resistance training with a high-protein diet and a slight caloric deficit is the ultimate trifecta for transforming your body. You're not just losing weight, you're building a stronger, leaner, and healthier physique. Right, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the plan. It's all well and good talking about deficits and protein, but you need a solid, practical blueprint to follow. The first step for me was figuring out my starting point. I needed to know how many calories my body burned just by existing. This is called your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. You can find loads of free calculators online that will estimate this for you based on your age, gender, height, and weight. Your BMR is the energy you need for basic functions like breathing and keeping your heart beating. This number is your foundation, the baseline from which you build your entire nutrition plan. Once I had my BMR, the next step was to calculate my daily calorie target. To create that gentle caloric deficit we talked about, the goal is to eat about 300 to 500 calories less than your total daily energy expenditure, which includes your BMR plus the calories you burn through activity. For me, this worked out to be around 2,200 calories per day. This was a sweet spot. It was low enough to trigger fat loss, but high enough that I never felt deprived or exhausted. I also set a clear protein target. The general rule of thumb is to aim for around 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight. This ensured my muscles had all the fuel they needed for repair and growth. With the nutrition sorted, it was time to plan the training. My goal was to hit the gym for resistance training sessions 3 times a week. I focused on compound exercises. These are big movements that work multiple muscle groups at once, like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, and overhead presses. These exercises are fantastic because they give you the most bang for your buck, burning more calories and stimulating more muscle growth than isolated exercises. On my off days, I didn't just sit on the sofa. I focused on active recovery, like going for a brisk 45-minute walk. This kept my body moving, helped with recovery, and burned a few extra calories without adding stress. This structured approach was everything. It took the guesswork out of the equation. I knew exactly what I needed to eat and how I needed to train each day. I used a simple food tracking app on my phone to monitor my calories and protein, which helped me stay accountable and learn about the nutritional content of different foods. It might sound like a lot of work at first, but it quickly becomes a habit. Having a clear, simple plan like this is what separates people who get results from those who just spin their wheels. It provides direction, builds momentum, and ultimately leads to incredible, lasting change. At the beginning, a big part of my motivation was to look better and feel more confident. I wanted to ditch that tight shirt and not have to worry about sucking in my stomach. But as I got deeper into the journey, I realized the benefits were so much bigger and more profound than just aesthetics. One of the first things I noticed was the incredible improvement in my sleep. Before, I'd often toss and turn, waking up feeling groggy and unrefreshed. But with better nutrition and regular exercise, I started sleeping like a log. I was waking up before my alarm, feeling properly rested and ready to take on the day. This alone was a massive win, and had a huge knock-on effect on my mood and productivity. The next thing that changed was my energy. That dreaded 3 p.m. slump, where I'd feel an overwhelming urge to nap or reach for a sugary snack, just vanished. My energy levels became stable throughout the day. I could power through my work in the afternoon and still have plenty of energy left over to have a proper kickabout with the kids when I got home. I wasn't the tired, grumpy dad on the sofa anymore. I was the fun dad who was initiating the games, running around the park and creating amazing memories with my family. This was the real prize. Seeing the joy on their faces was more rewarding than any number on the scale or any reflection in the mirror. This journey also had a ripple effect on my entire family's health. When my kids saw me choosing a healthy snack like an apple with peanut butter instead of a packet of crisps, they started asking for it too. When they saw me excited to go to the gym, it normalized the idea of exercise as a fun and important part of life. My wife and I started cooking more healthy meals together, experimenting with new recipes and enjoying the process. We weren't just changing my habits, we were building a healthier lifestyle for our entire household. We were setting a powerful example for our children, teaching them the importance of looking after their bodies from a young age, a lesson that will hopefully stay with them for life. Ultimately, this transformation was about investing in my long-term future. It was about giving myself the best possible chance of being healthy, active, and present for my family for as long as possible. I wanted to be able to travel, play with my grandkids one day, and live life to the fullest without being held back by poor health. Losing the belly fat was the visible result, but the real victory was the feeling of strength, vitality, and control I gained over my health. It was about building a life full of energy and joy, not just for today, but for all the tomorrows to come. That is a motivation that never fades. One of the biggest hurdles on any health journey isn't the gym or the diet itself, it's the people around you. Family gatherings, nights out with mates, and workplace celebrations are often centered around food and drink that can easily derail your progress. I remember going to a family Sunday roast early on. The table was groaning with roast potatoes cooked in goose fat, creamy sauces and a massive pudding. My lovely Nan, who shows her love through food, kept piling my plate high. Saying no, thank you felt like I was rejecting her love. It can be incredibly awkward to navigate these situations without causing offense or feeling like the odd one out. The key is to have a strategy, and a bit of humor definitely helps. Instead of making a big deal about being on a diet, I learned to frame it positively. If someone offered me a second helping of dessert, I'd say something like, "That looks amazing, but I'm absolutely stuffed from that delicious roast. I'm focusing on getting more energy for the kids, you see." I'd also try to plan ahead. Before a party, I'd have a small protein-rich snack so I wasn't starving when I arrived. This made it much easier to make sensible choices and resist the siren call of the sausage rolls. It's about taking control of the situation, rather than letting the situation control you. Peer pressure from friends can be another tricky one. Go on, 1 pint won't hurt, or don't be boring. Have a slice of pizza, are common refrains. It's easy to feel like you're spoiling the fun. I found that being upfront and honest was the best approach. I just tell my mates, I'm really trying to get a bit healthier at the moment, so I'm gonna stick to a sparkling water tonight, but I'm still up for a great laugh. Most of the time, your real friends will understand and support you. You can still be social and have a great time without compromising your goals. You might even inspire 1 or 2 of them to join you on your journey. Ultimately, you have to remember your why. When you're faced with a tempting situation, take a second to recall that feeling of the tight shirt, or think about having more energy for your family. That deep motivation is your shield. It's not about being perfect 100% of the time. If you do have a slice of cake at a birthday party, don't beat yourself up, just enjoy it, and get right back on track with your next meal. Consistency over perfection is the name of the game. Learning to navigate the social maze without guilt is a skill, and once you master it, you become unstoppable.